Okay, people. So the good folks at Signature hit me up with this new flick, Diamonds in the Rough. Right? Um, it is the new film. Yeah, Diamond in the Rough, should I say, not Diamonds. It's a new film from Jeanette Godoy, right? Which is actually her feature debut. You know, she's done some short, she's done a documentary. It's her first feature flick, right? It is written by Grace Church, Crystal Ferrerio, and James Sommers. The film is produced by Godot, Griffin Johnson, McKenna Marshall, Nick Phillips, Adam Westcoat, and line produced by Rebecca G. Stone. Music is Lauren Kuljak. Cinematography is Megan Stacy. Christine McPherson edits the piece. Dominica Pozern and Catalin Well handle casting. Production design is Candy Gutierrez. Rose Westerman is art direction. Set decoration is Ashley Medrano. Costume design, Samantha Kuster. Hair and makeup, we got Carol Choi, Denise Gutierrez, and Desiree Irving. Our cast. Well, we have got Samantha Boscarino as Arena Alvarez. Okay. Um. Hmm. Because I don't under now. She's got her now. She calls it her Theo, right? Which I'm not really sure what that is. I'm not like no, I'm not really sure what that is. And I think um that he is played by Carlos Lasamara Tio Hore. I think that's him, right? But boy, yeah, listings are terrible, people. Um, her friend is Christina, who is played by Natasha Beman. Um, then there's Skylar Harrison, her nemesis, played by Kathleen Carver. Carl Harrison, her husband, is played by Andy Cohen. Um, you've got her old school friend, right? Rebecca, who's played by Essence Renee. Then there is Jenny, played by Christine Lee. Now, they are buddies of Skylar to an extent, right? There is Stella Archibald, right? Member of the golf club, played by Carolyn Hennessy. We have got oh, who else is there? I guess we have got Damien, played by Christian A. Pierce. Yes. There's Mike, played by Rizwan Manji. So he owns the big media company. We have got Jordan, played by Peter Karras. There is Dan, played by Pat Finn, who I was like, I swear I recognize that dude, but I couldn't put my finger on it. And then it was just like, oh, that's it. And then there's Jordan. No, sorry, Jason, played by Griffin Johnson. Okay, that's mainly it. Um, yeah. Oh, Richard, the president of the golf club, played by Wayne Wilderson. Right, and the gist of the flick is this: after the death of her parents, Ariana Alvarez is lost and can't hold down a job because corporate life is so not her. To help her navigate post college life, her doting Tio Jorge gets her a summer membership at his swanky country club and challenges her to make some friends fast. But Ariana soon learns that life among the wealthy and golf obsessed is a lot like being back in high school. Cliques abound, mean girls are everywhere, and only the richest kids get to call the shots. Will the country club change Ariana, or will it be the other way around? Bum, bum, bum. Now, here's the thing, right? So, in other places, right, this is being sold as Happy Gilmore meets Mean Girls, which, yeah, you can kind of understand why they're saying that. Is it those films? I'm not sure. Right now, what this is like kind of the modern take of, right, a school flick, a bit like Do Revenge from a month or so ago. Remember that one on Netflix? So yeah, it's got a similar thing, right? Because we've got, this generations of high school kid. They've got TikTok, all of that jazz, pronouns and all of that. So it's all up in there, you know? And we have that conceit of the poor kid having to acclimatize to this wealthy situation, right? Fish out of water type of shit. The thing being, it seems that Ariana is from money herself, right? So there's scenarios that make no sense, right? Like at the beginning, we have her at a job interview, and the job interview is going well, but there's a bit, and this is no spoiler. It's at the very beginning of the film, people. Literally in the first minute or so, she answers her phone, right? Answers her phone in the interview, and is like, "I'm trending," and it's just like no one's doing that, right? If you're in an interview, you're turning your fucking phone off, right? It just made no sense. Like, look, there's plenty of things you could have done to have her go, she's not getting the job, right? Or she sucks it into it. But to have someone answer their phone and be like, oh, I'm trending on YouTube or TikTok or whatever the fuck it was, I forget. That kind of weird. Kind of weird, right? Now, the other big thing, as I said, look, her Tio, mad money, right? Which kind of makes you think that her parents must be kind of, because when you see the house she's living in and just all of this, it's she's not poor, right? She's not poor. Real nice clothes, right? Which there is a bit where she's like, I don't know where to shop. And you're just like, it's not like you're walking around in rags. So that made no sense, right? But yeah, her like to join this golf club, this country club, is serious change. So the fact that he can then give her this, membership, it was just like, you ain't poor, right? So then having her in this situation, you're a bit like, but it's not the poor against the rich. it's rich on rich crime here. That's what it is. You know what I mean? It's you know, I'm gonna strike you with my glove, you fiend. Right? It's one of them ones, man. So the complete notion of this film is blown out the water. Right? It's just blown out the water. And you have these girls, like, I think one of the big things for me here, there is no real, like, there's no story behind what's going down, right? The reasoning and all of that. Because you look at it and you think, okay, so Skylar's meant to be like the big, you know, top dog of this place. But why would Rebecca and Jenny be hanging out with her? That's the big thing, because they don't seem like they're dumb. So you're just like, why are they hanging out with her? Like, that makes no sense. Like, give us a reason here. Because especially when you know the background of Skylar, so it's just like, I mean, it makes no sense that she would be running the roost over these girls, right? So there's that situation. You have, it's one of these ones where, like, that, at this country club, there's a men only lounge, and men are allowed to do this stuff, but girls aren't, and all of that kind of jazz. And then you have this one girl being like, no, I'm not happy with that. And the others might go, yeah, we don't like it either, but it's just and you're just like, are you telling me that no one else has tried? Right? It's just this weird thing of, oh yeah, no, everyone else was just happy to go with this until, which, you know, like, if you're placing it in today, right? Come on. Look how people are so ready to complain. You didn't use my pronoun. You didn't do. So you're telling me that they would just be like, oh yeah, I'm happy to go over here with all the other girls. It'd be like, no, 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 no. We're striking until you change there, right? If you're gonna make it set in this time, right, and go with all that, you gotta go with how shit be. Right. And that's the weird thing about this film is they want to go, yes, we're up to date, but we're going to treat it like it was, you know 10 or so years ago. So it's a bit weird in that context. We then, like, everything is kind of, it's going like a typical teen movie. And I will say, right, even though with all of these issues with the script and story and all of that kind of jazz, it is probably one of the better versions of this type of story, right? There are maybe less plot problems than Do Revenge, right? Because Do Revenge had all the twists and stuff in it, which then made no sense. With then, how are they hanging? How are they doing that? If that's there's none of that in this. It is pretty straightforward. There are some weird things though, because it's just like staff aren't meant to fraternize with the members, right? Or they lose their job. So are you really going to put a staff in that situation and be pissed that they are like, I need my job, right? There's this stuff. And when you kind of, because you don't know if these staff are rich or what's their deal. Now, there is a mention of scholarship, right? So you're under the assumption they ain't got a load of cash. So it's like, how would you put their job in jeopardy, right? When everything is on an assumption, right? It's all on an assumption. So it's just like, it's baffling how they're just not, nah, what the fuck are you talking? We're talking, we're being pleasant, right? What? So there's not that. So that's all weird. And then they throw this thing out there, right? Because you know where this film is going. You know what I mean? You know there's going to be this big showdown, right? And you have this, you have this thing, and you're like, they're gonna do that, right? They're gonna do that. And you're thinking, I hope they don't do that because there's no indication of. And then they do it, and they pull this thing out and be like, oh, and it's just like, what are you doing? Right? It feels so lazy because there is no indication, right? There's no real indication of this thing. Now, you could go, oh, there's that picture. No, that's not enough to be, because anyone can, but it's like to say then that person is a bit much. It's a mad deuce machina, you know what I mean? Just dropped in to save the day. It's just like, oi. And then at the end, when they all wrap it up with the way they wrap it up was a little bit insane, because there is, in a normal situation, you just be like, yo, we cool. I ain't gonna fuck with you. You don't fuck with me. Right? That would be fine. To end it the way they ended it is just like, if you're saying that is the thing, then that could have happened without any of the other shit. Right? It's one of them ones. So that's a little crazy. One of the weirdest moments of this film, though, was they do some jujitsu, right? They do some jujitsu. Now, some of the shit they show you ain't is not jujitsu, right? Then the other stuff is just like, you're not just doing that in your first fucking lesson. You're not doing that because it's dangerous. You can break stuff, right? So it's just, you're just watching it and just like, what? Why? If you're gonna say jujitsu, at least just do it properly. Do it properly. Don't do this. This is a mess. It's insane. Boy, oh boy, people. Boy, oh boy. But here's a jam. If, right, if you like that kind of teen craziness, right? So Willow Rebel Wilson had that film senior year, I think it was. Right. So if you like a senior year, if you like a Do Revenge, if you like a Mean Girls type of flick, right? If that's your jam, then people, I would probably say Diamond in the Rough is something you might enjoy. Right. But do not expect a sophisticated flick, because it's not that. What the one big thing though was, it's nice to see different representation in films, right? That was something, right? It's a bit like Do Revenge. Even though these films are very flawed, it is nice to see more representation and be like, all right, so us ethnics can make shit films too. No, hey, it might not be shit for you. And I'm not saying it's shit, but just, right? It's very uncomplicated. But yeah, it's out now, people, on all your favorite VODs. So if it sounds like your kind of thing, Diamond in the Rough, baby.